Should I change my game's title to the Momentum Slash? Or maybe sort of Momentum? When I tell people I'm making a game, they ask what genre it is. I say it's a 3D platformer action Metroidvania. Most people don't understand what that means. The title has the same problem. When I say it's called the Archaic, they're just confused. The title gives them no clue what kind of game this is. People I've talked to say, with so many games releasing every day, your title needs to show what the game is right away. They told me to change it to something more intuitive. At first, I brushed off the advice to change the title. But what if they're right? What if the title really does affect visibility and sales that much? If the title were the Momentum Slash, people would understand it right away. They'd know it's about cutting with speed. Wouldn't that help the game reach more people? Hello, I'm 6/7, a solo game developer. In this video, I want to show you my game's core mechanic first, and then ask for your thoughts on whether I should actually change the title. In most games, attack power is determined by your stats and equipment. My game follows the same formula. You invest in perks to increase your strength, and discover better swords as you explore. All of this increases your base attack power, represented by the orange bar in the slash power gauge. But there's a second bar, the green one. And this is where it gets interesting. This bar only fills when you gain momentum. It represents additional damage based on your current speed and slash direction. This is the core mechanic I built into this game, the momentum system. The challenge is simple. How fast are you moving the exact moment your slash lands? So what methods can we use to build momentum? The first and most straightforward way is sprinting. If you sprint while charging a slash, you'll build basic momentum as you move. Simple. If you sprint down a slope, you'll pick up speed much faster, building stronger momentum. Sprint uphill, and the opposite happens. Crouching while sprinting triggers a slide, giving you a sudden burst of speed. You can dodge gunfire or slip under obstacles while still delivering your strike. Sprinting is the easiest way to gain momentum, but there's a penalty. While you're sprinting, your strength, that orange bar, gradually drains. This is a trade-off. When you're pushing yourself to sprint, you can't maintain full strength in your slash. So when you're just walking, your strength charge stays at full. There is a way to keep your strength high while sprinting, a perk called Balance Slash. The concept is that as the protagonist grows into a seasoned warrior, she can maintain her strength even while sprinting. But this perk only unlocks mid-game, so it's not a viable strategy early on. So the real question becomes, how do you gain speed without relying on your own legs? How do you max out both bars at the same time and unleash a truly devastating slash? That's where the other methods come in. The second method is the gravity drop attack. You jump from a high position and keep your slash angled downward, top to bottom, landing right in front of your target to strike the moment you hit the ground. Because you're not pushing yourself forward but simply falling under gravity, the protagonist doesn't need to work for it. The strength gauge doesn't drain while you're falling. At the same time, you're gaining strong momentum as you fall. This is one of the most frequently used attack patterns in the game. No matter how tough an enemy is, if you can get above it, you can deliver a devastating downward strike. And since this is a 3D platformer, climbing to reach those positions becomes part of the gameplay itself. Before we continue, let me explain something I mentioned earlier. Slash direction. You can freely choose your attack angle across 360 degrees, plus a thrust. This system originally came from the slicing mechanic, where you can cut objects into different shapes. That idea carries over into melee combat. The game uses a directional system similar to The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword for Honor or Kingdom Come Deliverance, where both your attack and guard directions matter. And naturally, slash direction is crucial for building momentum. For example, during combat, if you dodge left and slash left, you'll gain momentum. But if you dodge left and slash right, you won't gain any momentum. If you're performing a gravity drop, but swing your blade from bottom to top, you won't get any momentum. On the other hand, if you're rocketing upward, you'd want to swing from bottom to top to align your attack with your motion and gain momentum. It sounds complicated, but it's actually simple. Match your slash direction to your movement direction. The third weight is using environmental objects. Some slopes are too steep to climb. You'll simply slide down them. When sliding down these steep surfaces, your horizontal speed can spike dramatically, creating far more acceleration than just sprinting down a slope. For springs, I looked directly at how Sonic games handle that mechanic. In other words, springs in this game are designed to instantly give you a set amount of momentum that fits the shape and flow of the level. Because the way you gain momentum in these sections is fixed, these sequences are all about focusing entirely on the timing of your slashes. What you're seeing now is one of those examples. And there are many other environmental objects you'll discover throughout the game. And of course, since this is a Metroidvania, the protagonist's special abilities become some of the most important tools for generating momentum. Resonancing is the base ability that unlocks everything else. The protagonist resonates with a mysterious power that the Archaic has placed somewhere in space, granting her access to various special abilities. The ability that works best for Momentum Slash is Refract Strike. Refract Strike is probably the ability you'll use most in this game. It works like the bash mechanic from Ori and the Blind Forest. You can think of it as a 3D version. You can refract enemy projectiles and redirect them to any target you want, or use those projectiles as footholds to launch yourself and gain a burst of movement. That speed converts directly into momentum, letting you create powerful slashes with relatively little effort. In certain sections, you'll unlock an ability, Flying. While flying is active, your movement is dramatically enhanced, letting you reach top speed with almost no setup and slice through enemies and terrain alike. This is Momentum Slash, the heart of this game. You build momentum through different methods, then use that power to break through obstacles and take down enemies. Of course, momentum isn't the only thing in this game. There's also TPS-style shooting, which I designed to be casual and straightforward, not overly complex. I might cover that in a future video. Now, let's come back to the question from the beginning. Some people say a title needs to explain the game in 3 seconds. That's a fair point. The Archaic doesn't tell customers anything. I think it could hurt the marketing. However, I want to keep it, because this title best represents the story I'm trying to tell. The story is set in the future where humanity has achieved immortality. The protagonist, the Archaic, is the only mortal left, summoned from the past. She must uncover a truth that immortal humanity has long since buried. The title, The Archaic, Unauthorized, reflects what this story is really about. But I'm genuinely unsure. What if it hurts the game's chances? Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe in today's market, you really do need a title that explains everything in 3 seconds. So here's what I want to ask you. If you were in my position, which would you choose? A title that's instantly clear and intuitive? Or a title that carries the game's identity and story, even if it might hurt visibility? Let me know in the comments what you think. And I'm planning to share the full story, what auth is, why the title is The Archaic, and what being unauthorized means. It probably won't be a video. More likely a written post. I'll figure out the best way. Thanks for watching.